Welcome to William Steele, True Crime and Steele the Spotlight Television. This is William Steele. We have a phenomenal guest on tonight. We do a lot of crime prevention and a lot of different things. You guys know that I did a review of Sound of Freedom, a big movie that came out. Gave it 5 stars. I even told my followers and subscribers, if you can't support the work of these people, to round up these predators and target them and bring them to justice, unsubscribe. You're not a fan of mine. You're not a friend of mine. Get lost. So
Amen.
I have one of the original guys in the whole genre, like the founder. This I stumbled across him last night. So we have as a guest Shane Coyle. Shane Coyle has Child Safety Soldiers
Yes,
on
sir.
Facebook and elsewhere. Before that, it was called
The ultimate decoy. Yeah,
the
man. We
Ultimate
started
Decoy.
out as the ultimate decoy.
Let me introduce Shane, and we're gonna try to not trip over each other here because we're both amped up right now to do this. Because this is something that's dear to both of our hearts, and he's got a ton of excitement and energy with him. And Shane, we met in a really odd way. A mutual acquaintance, Beth, introduced us,
Yeah,
um, and I'm very good friends with Joseph D'Onofrio. He's a very famous actor. Played in
I know him very
Goodfellas.
well.
Yeah, played in Goodfellas. Silent Partners. He and I are both in Silent Partners, by the way. Silent
Nice,
Partners
man.
comes out. It comes out this summer. So I'm looking forward to that. I have a little small part. I saw the screening in New York, and he's just as funny as ever, man. I can't tell
Oh,
you
yeah.
much about
Yeah.
it, but he's phenomenal. Mike Marino's in it, a bunch of guys.
Mike
So
Marino, another good one. Joseph D'Onofrio, Mike Marino. Big salute to you guys, man. I know them
that's
both
right.
very well, man.
That's right. So through this mutual friend who also knows Joseph D'Onofrio, shout out Joseph because you're responsible inadvertently for this meeting right here, and so we expect to collaborate together. But I'm not even going to say anymore. I probably talked too long already. Shane, thank you so much for coming on the show. Tell us
Hey, man. Thank
tell us
you.
who you are, what you do, because you're incredible. I watched you bust a guy posing as a pagan last night. And for the record, the pagans don't. This guy's not a member. He wasn't a pedo. There's no pedophile pagan, but he was posing as one. And
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Man, I'll tell you what, again, William, thank you so much for having me on the show, man. It is an honor. I've seen your work many, many times over and over. The books
Thank
are
you.
phenomenal, and it's just an honor to be here, especially under the likes of Joseph D'Onofrio, who I've actually known for quite some time. Mike Marino, one of fellow comedian of mine as well. Really good guys, really good guys. So to be in this little circle of friends, it's very intriguing and it's nice. My name is Shane Coyle, aka the Ultimate Decoy, and currently now the founder of Child Safety Soldiers. Many, many years ago, over 7 years ago, I created a movement. I started a movement. I jump started it. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, he didn't create it." No, I'm not Chris Hansen from Dateline NBC. He was the first, or however. I'm definitely the guy that jump started it on Facebook, kicked this movement off, and now is the one that lit the fire under the butt of this movement, hunting and exposing child predators. What I do is number one, I have an uncanny ability to do voices. I can pretty much do any voice you ask me to do. Will I do them like a clown? No, not right now, but maybe in the future. But my ability to change my voice has been used in order to hunt and expose child predators by placing ads on social media stating that I'm a 14 or 15-year-old female or male. And once these ads are placed or these profiles are created impersonating an underage child, the response that we get from these child predators is astronomical. It's disgusting. It's something, there's it's a loss for words. Hundreds upon hundreds of child predators, one after another, start messaging me. Now, unlike other teams, I don't have female decoys talking on the phone. I don't put any females in danger. I am the ultimate decoy. I use my ability to change my voice to act like these young children, the young girl. So
Now,
when the
hold on one second, Shane. Now, this man right here has been on Dr. Phil, Inside Edition.
you
Could
name
you
it,
list off a few of the shows? Because I'm going to
Dr.
have you
Phil,
do a voice.
Inside Edition, MTV, had my own show on MTV. God, man, it's hundreds of news channels, hundreds of radio stations. But it's not about the accolades of where I've been. It's about where this movement is going and where the awareness for parental, awareness is going.
That's right. And we're both, crime prevention. We're advocating for kids and victims and against child predators. Now, I want you to do a voice just real quick so they can get an idea how good
A-
you are. Hey, this is
Absolutely.
this is Bubba. What's up? What's up?
Hi,
Who are
sweetie.
you?
How are you? It's Jennifer Adelia. Where are you?
Hi,
Like,
Jen. Hi, Jen. I'm nearby.
oh,
How old are you,
so
Jen?
Well, I mean, like, my ID says that I'm 18, but I'm only 14. Duh. Like, why? How old are you? And, like, when are we going to meet?
I'm 92.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, no, listen, you'd be surprised, William. I've had them all the way up to 80 years old wanting to meet up. You know, you get this whole, how are you, dear? You would like to meet me?
So, like, how old are you?
Well, I'm 79. I'll be 80 next week if I make it.
Well, all right, cool.
You know, and, we're laughing now, but the reality of it
Some
is these
sickos out there.
child predators, these child predators are so weak minded that they believe what they want to believe. They hear what they want to hear. And I manipulate them the way they manipulate our children. You know,
Good for you.
it's insane.
You now, just real quick. Now I met you, like I said, through a mutual friend, literally just yesterday,
Yeah.
and I was wanting to do this as part of my show and my crime prevention, and I contacted a few other organizations that either get back or just say hello or look for a donation. In
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
case, you were right on it. You made the connection. You saw the value in a possible collaboration. I want to know now. Last night you said, "Follow my life, follow my life." We got a guy posing as a pagan.
Yeah.
What happened last night? I mean, it's just so
Last
exciting.
It's insane. And this is, I've done hundreds of these busts, but what happened for about 2.5 weeks, my decoys have been going back and forth in the chats, just via chat with a
Mhm.
49-year-old individual on and out a social media application, which I won't mention the name of that application right now. As the case is now, he's sitting in jail, and we're going to just keep that kind of under wraps. But on one of these social media applications, child appropriate, this child predator, 49 years old, answered a profile, asked how old we were. The immediate response we say as decoys is that 15 years old or 14 years old or what have you. Now, this child predator is unique in a way because, not unique, he's disgusting because a month prior before this, he was actually exposed by a fellow hunting team called Bikers Against Predators. Fellow team busted him over a month ago. They didn't get the arrest because somehow he weaseled through it. But then he messages me a month later because these individuals are sick. They don't stop. He
Right.
messages my decoy. My decoy states, "Hey, I'm a 15-year-old female. Is that cool?" He was more than happy with it. He was actually overly excited. Said, "Would you mind hooking up with an older guy? I'm not that bad looking, blah, blah, blah." And the chat history goes from there. The ball then gets passed to me. My decoy is instructed to then get the phone number for the individual, pass the phone number to me, and delete their profile. Because then when I get the pervert on the phone, I tell them that my profile was deleted because I'm underage. We begin the process of memorializing evidence from there. This guy last night, absolutely disgusting. One of the worst ones that I've ever busted, and I've busted hundreds of them, man.
So he engages in. We're not going to say the conversation here because I don't want to get shut down. But so he engages in graphic sexual content
Very.
conversation with you,
Yes.
um, and thinking that you're an underage girl in this case. He
Yeah.
also represented himself to be a pagan 1% biker.
Oh man, I'll tell you, first thing I did is I looked up and I found and got, I got some contacts out there that know people, found out the local chapter or the chapter that he was stating from the pagans. I spoke to a very high ranking member of the pagans, and they wanted to come to the bust and actually confront him in person. I said, "Well, no, I can't give you guys the address." They would have, what they would have done. So he was just making it up. And then he tells me he's part of another motorcycle gang called RMC. I didn't even bother reaching out to them. The guy's got tattoos of pagan stuff on his arm too, which is crazy. So he's not only impersonating a pagan, but he's trying to get children online. I mean, the mind and
And
mentality of this
he's going to
individual.
jail as a non-member with those tattoos, or probably prison now, soliciting
Yes,
kids.
sir.
I
Yes,
hate to
sir.
say it. We don't condone violence here, and we would hope these people change and never do this. But I've seen people in that situation get their tattoos carved off them and worse.
Not only that, but when he
Uh,
gets to prison and he's titled a child predator with as many charges as I got him now, he got himself, but I facilitated. The second he gets to prison, they're going to make him their mark. He's a child predator. They get what they deserve when they get to prison, and I look forward to that.
Now I saw the name on your site. Can we say it here? You're comfortable saying it here? It was
Oh, what? Yeah, you can say whatever you want. If
Was
it's,
it Robinson? What was the first name?
I believe Charlie, yeah,
Charlie
Charles
Robinson.
Robinson.
Okay, so this
Yeah,
guy
it's
here
all
was
over the page, so it's okay. Charles Robinson, age 49, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Was he married? Was he married himself with children or anything?
No. He has 3 children, 3 daughters. He lives with his mom and dad in a rinky-dink. It's your classic telltale trailer trash story of a child predator.
What
You know,
exactly? What does he do for a living? Does his employers know about this?
he doesn't do anything. He said he didn't have a job. Yeah.
Man.
And it's not like he's disabled or anything like that. He has no mental illnesses that I were noticeable that he even disclosed.
With your
So it's
permission, we're going to put some of your footage from your Facebook when the police actually show up and they ask him. And this guy is literally telling you the truth. Oh, but it wasn't just this one. I'm also in touch with somebody that's 12 years old. And
yeah,
I'm like,
I have
this is
I
going
have a
on
really
now as
good
we speak.
ability. Yeah, I have a great ability to draw this stuff out of them. You know what I mean?
You're like me. You have this. You from the big city. You have some street smarts. You've also done time. You're a
Yeah,
trained psychologist, so
yeah.
you're no idiot at
Not
all.
psychologist, addictions and mental health counselor, but very similar.
Right.
you
So
know,
you know game, and you know how to help people, or you know how to get them to feel like they
Mm,
need to unburden this stuff. And
absolutely.
you're not their lawyer or priest. So when they unburden to you, it's all admissible.
Hey, and the best thing that I say, and what I like saying is these individuals are preying, manipulating, and destroying our children by pretending to be kids, by playing with their minds. Our children's minds are sponges. They're going to take in what these predators do on a daily basis. So I reverse the role. I pretend to be the child, and I manipulate the heck out of these individuals and give them a dose of their own medicine that they'll never forget.
Now, give me some more of your backstory. First of all, how many busts or people have you caught on
I-
camera? You know,
I've
doing
lost
this?
count. It's in the hundreds. I mean, there's teams out there that got 300. Like Bikers Against Predators is like, I think they're on number 300. You got Oklahoma Predator Prevention that's got hundreds. You got, Oklahoma Predator Prevention, Bikers Against Predators, Worldwide Predator Hunters. I'm an affiliate of theirs under their nonprofit 501(c). Worldwide Predators. There's hundreds of busts. I have done so many that I've lost count. I stopped counting. Believe it or not, the only time I counted was like for the first 25. And then it became so just ingrained that one after another, after another, after another, we would just not even count.
Uh,
Now we're starting to count arrests and convictions.
yeah.
That's what
And
counts.
look, I'm very passionate about this issue too for various reasons that we're not going to go into at the moment. But I feel your passion, and I do know that for a while, you know, if you get donations and all that, I'm all about you monetizing and making a living doing this. But I see it's more of a passion. But guys like me and you, we put our own time and money into what we're doing most of the time. Um,
Yeah.
so we're always grateful for that, for that hand up a little bit, whether it's for gas money, hotel, travel expenses, whatever,
Yeah.
because you're putting your life in danger. You're meeting some dangerous people. I think one of the films I saw of you, you were getting actually assaulted by somebody.
Yeah. I actually a predator bust that I did roughly 3, 4, maybe 4 years ago. The child predator was a 6'5", hillbilly guy from Tampa, Florida.
Right.
Came to meet a 15-year-old female. I had the predator. I made him call his mother, let his mother know he was a predator. I made him call his job, let his job know he's a predator. And he felt some type of way about that. Sped off in his car. I'm walking across the parking lot. All of a sudden I hear, now I'm live on Facebook, and this is up there. It's on the Dr. Phil show, everything. He turns around, he's coming straight at me. I'm like, wow, I'm like, you want to hit me? Go ahead and hit me. Trying to be a tough guy online, but man, I jumped as high as I could, hit the car, hit my legs. I kind of rolled. Didn't get hurt, man. I was okay for the most part. Ran and I dove through the McDonald's window like this, the drive-through window, because he was coming around for round two. Now, yes, your life is in danger, but you got to expect that. We're working.
That's attempted murder. That's attempted murder. Did he get charged with
Oh
attempted
yeah,
murder?
bro. Yeah. He no, he didn't get arrested. And later on down the road, I had the chance to press charges, and I wound up moving out of Tampa. He disappeared. Nothing ever came of it, man. I'm not going to say that
Yeah,
he didn't get dealt with in
you have to
another
have
way.
definitely we definitely have our backgrounds, that we screwed up in some ways, but I'm definitely a law enforcement supporter. My co-host is
Absolutely.
Ignacio Esteban, and he's retired ATF. He's author of this book right here, ATF,
Wow, bro.
ATF the other way.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay.
Wow,
Hey,
man.
ATF Undercover, and he's got like 80 books out. So he's my co-author. And now I'll show you something else. And I mentioned it to you earlier. So I write books about some people I've encountered over the years who became infamous. One is the wealthiest serial killer in American history, Robert Durst. And so I wrote this book when I was incarcerated, and
Wow.
Nancy Grace covered it on her podcast. So if you want to check out my books, anybody, here they are. The links are in the description. And then I knew, unfortunately, Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, I knew her before she was infamous, And I was in the Palm Beach mansion years ago, many, many years ago. And I realized some things were going on there that I wasn't cool with. And in my case, I actually took some material to authorities and nothing was done about it.
Yeah,
Many
well,
victims came forward, many of the female victims came forward, and nothing was done about it. And that we all know how that played out. So, like I said, I'm with you. You guys will see my 5-star review for Sound of Freedom.
Absolutely.
Tell me something. Tell me about your background and how this became a passion for you.
You know, yeah, I come from, everybody says they're from the school of hard knocks. Well, I can tell you I'm from the school of hard knocks in the streets. And I had a crazy, crazy upbringing, man. Really crazy upbringing. I am an addict, unapologetically an addict in recovery. Um, I'll tell you, this started for me. I started hunting and exposing these child predators when, number one, of course, I've always seen it, Chris Hansen, Dateline NBC, and I was always like, wow, man, go, man,
Right.
bust these guys. But it was one day my daughter at 12 years old, she's 18 years old now, what really set me into it. She was being preyed on by a child predator online, unknowingly. My daughter never messaged him. I intercepted the calls, the texts, everything. But instead of me getting on the phone and screaming, hey, who the heck is this? Blah, blah, knowing that the predator's going to run, I said, you know what? I had a bright idea. I said, you know what? Why don't I use one of my voices? So when this predator was calling my daughter, acting like a 13-year-old boy, I answered the phone like my daughter. I said,
Hello. Hey, what's up? How are you? Oh, that's so dumb. How are you?
it really got this predator by the, you know what? And he was locked in. He wanted to meet up, and he did. He met up with me, and I annihilated him in a physical manner. It wasn't for the internet. It wasn't for the show. It wasn't for likes, shares, and
The
views. It was
father
my
protecting
daughter.
his daughter, right? Right.
Yeah, I wound up getting arrested, getting tased, arrested because I was on top of him, grounded, pounding him. And when the police got me in the car after, I didn't. They pulled the prong. I had one in my neck, one in my back. Pulled the prongs out. They asked me, what happened. I told them. I showed them the chat logs. I told them exactly what happened. I just showed them my voice. The cops were like, wow. They ran his name. He left in an ambulance. They run his name. They're like, wow, you're telling the truth, man. He's a 2-time sex offender on the registry. I said, what do you think? I'm making this story up?
Right.
I just want to, either way, I got down to the police, central booking. They took the cuffs off me. They said, hey, listen, the officer, I'll never forget it, put his hand out. He said, hey, father to father, this guy was a, I want to use explicit language. This guy was a child predator, his 3rd-time offense. You're unarrested. I said, unarrested? That's even a thing? Like,
I've
first
never
time in my
heard the
life.
term.
But then what happened was I get home and I say, you know what? If this is happening to my daughter in my house, what'll happen if, I just act like a child and make a fake profile online? No sooner did I do that, hundreds upon hundreds of child predators messaging one after another after another. So I went on a crusade, one after another.
Hello. Hey, what's up? Where am I meeting you? Okay, cool. See you there.
Every single one, just doing it. I have a 100% success rate. No predator has ever said, well, you don't sound like a girl. You don't sound like a. It's because they hear what they want to hear. The
Right.
sexual orientation driven just makes them just pray even harder and harder. And they believe what you want them to believe and they hear what they want to hear. And it's unfortunate, but it's fortunate for us as predator hunters to go after them in the nature that we do. And it's unfortunate because they are steadily working on their craft of grooming children. And it's our duty as parents to do our due diligence, making sure our children's devices are safe, making sure that our children are not talking to people they don't know, and making sure that we are 100% on top of these things. Because if we're not, the second we turn around, the child predator is right there. And they
That's right.
have no sex, they have no shape, they have no likeness. A predator could be anybody, a Disneyland worker, a Dunkin' Donuts cashier, your Walmart employee. It could be a grandma, a grandpa. It has no likeness. So you have to take into account that you are literally on guard 24 hours a day when you have a child. And it's my duty as a parent to not only keep my children safe, but to have that love I have for my 2 children, Gianna and my Gianna and Shane, my 2 kids, that I have for them in my heart for your children, for everyone's children, because children are exactly what the heck we are living for, man. The second I had my children, everything else in my life became null and void. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
That's it.
I know the feeling. Unfortunately, estranged right now because of I did 18 years for nonviolent crimes, and
Sorry to hear that, brother.
yeah, exes, poison the minds against the kids and all that. So I'm hoping to
Yeah.
reconcile relationships. And I'm just
Yeah.
building this and it's just crazy. Like even in my case, there's people that if you screw up and you're in the addiction space, oh, you're a loser, you're a con artist, you're phony, you're this, you're that, you have ulterior
Yeah,
motive. So I go through that all the time. And recently, we had two people come up with false allegations. So, we're dealing with all this craziness. And in my heart and mind, I know where my headspace is now, and I'm genuinely
absolutely,
trying to do the right thing and help people. And
absolutely.
and I'm not perfect. I made some missteps along the way, but I'm definitely not breaking any laws. I'm not getting high anymore. I used to use a lot of coke. I didn't use anything else. So
Yeah,
I had this big cocaine problem, and I was a jewel and art thief, and then I became a cocaine trafficker, gun trafficker.
yeah.
So
It
I've
all
done all
goes
this
hand in hand,
a long time ago. So, Ignacio, my co-host, he knows the people that, were investigating me back in the 90s, for running guns and dope and everything.
Wow.
So, and now he's one of my best friends. He's my co-host. He's running for Congress. Well, not, excuse me, I don't want to say that, but he's
Yeah,
thinking about running for congressman out of Virginia. I've actually announced that I might run for president in
hey,
2028
make it
because
happen. You got my vote.
a convicted felon can run. And there's so much drama in my life. There's nothing that's ever happened to me or you can do to me that hasn't already been done. False accusations, all this crap, right? So that's a line from I'll give the shout outs from Scarface. So you remember when Tony Montana, the immigration guys when they first got him, where'd you get this scar from, tough guy?
Yeah,
And
yeah. Oh, yeah.
he goes, we're going to put you in Freedom Town until we figure it out. And he says, there's nothing you can do to me that ain't
Yeah.
already been done. So that's kind of been like one of my lines. I'm like, bring it on, because these days I document like my every movement with photography, audio, video,
Amen.
just because you have to, because people are always hating. And in your case, I'm sure you've had people come after you and try to make stuff up or get you charged
Oh,
for the way you're
man.
going about things or whatever. I loved the video I saw of you when the guy with the pie. Now I'll let you tell it your way. What happened with this pie?
Okay. I know which one you're talking about. It was a 26-year-old child. And it's crazy because the younger the age that they are, the more close you get to the age of consent and blah, blah, blah. Listen, my day and age, we grew up, if you're under 18, you're a child. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's
Exactly.
how I believe. So I was a 15-year-old female. He was a 25 or 26-year-old male, wanted to meet me in the park for sexual activities on the slide in the children's playground. So I contacted law enforcement, and at the time, that law enforcement office got so tired of hearing from me because I was doing 1 or 2 busts a day. They're like, "Look, man, you're gonna have to submit your own evidence. We're not even coming." I'm like, "Wow, this is all right. I'm gonna handle it myself." Then I do. So I told the predator he had a couple of choices. He's got 3 choices. I said, "You got number one, you could box me, okay, right up there by the gazebo, and we'll go toe to toe." And he's like, "Oh no, no,
And
I
for the
said,
record, for my audience, I learned one thing about you. You were a professional boxer, and
oh yeah, yeah. Not
you
even
have
just for
martial
just
arts training.
I 27 years of martial arts training in my belt. I got a second-degree black belt in Korean Kumdo, and I got boxing gloves tatted on my hands for a reason, man. Hey, I'm 5'6", but I'll get in your chest.
Hey, but
Anyway,
you're like me. You got a big nose there. You ever get it
oh, bro,
broken?
you can ski down this thing, bro. Look, I turn this way. The neighbor just
I
got hit in
wouldn't
the
want
side
to.
of
I
the head.
wouldn't want to be a boxer if I was you. I'd be like, yeah, no, don't hit the nose.
I got
Don't
an
hit the
old
nose.
Jimmy Durante nose. My nose has been busted, broken so many
Hey,
times,
that's
bro.
funny. That you're right. You're right. You can impersonate him. I know you did some stand-up comedy, but we'll
Oh
get
shit.
back to that in a minute. So what happened with
Wait.
this pie guy?
So this child predator, I made I used to come up with antics, different little things I'm gonna do. I'm gonna either scream in their face with a bullhorn for the world to see, or I'm gonna make them call their parents and call their jobs. And in this case, I stopped at the 7-Eleven. I got a big can of whipped cream. I got a metal plate. It was a metal plate too. You'll notice in the video. And I told this child predator, I'm talking to him, I'm spraying the whipped cream, fill it all the way up. I want to make him look like a real jack, I want to make him look like a real idiot.
Right.
I said, listen, I said, you put this right here, I put it in his hand. And I said, now on the count of 3, I said, you're gonna slap this pie in your face. I may smash him right. Damn me.
Before you even said that, as soon as you handed it to him, he started eating it.
He's like, I snapped on it too. I said, whoa, 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 you eating my pie? I said, he goes, what do you want me to do? I said, I want you to hit you. You tell me what you're gonna do, because I'm not allowed to tell them what to do. Like in this genre of busting child predators, there's a very thin line. We can be held liable for entrapment. We can be impersonating law. You have to really know your stuff. I am not allowed to tell anybody. Hey, for example, there's loopholes for everything. I can tell, normally you pull up on a child predator. A lot of the teams will tell them, hey, don't move, stay there. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to tell them what to do.
That's
But
illegal detainment right there.
yeah, yeah. So what I do is I ask them, forcefully. Hey, I'm going to ask you to stay right there. I'm going to ask you not to move. I'm asking him, there's the
Yeah.
loophole. So I told him, I'm going to ask you to smash this right in your own face as hard as you can. I'm going to give you a little jump start. Oh, I have to. I said, I'm asking you nicely, And he sure enough did smash himself in the pie. Wound up, he had a joint. I wound up just throwing that on the ground. It was when I was new in the movement, when I first kicked the thing off and got this thing started. It gained a lot of attention, but he still walked the streets. He didn't get arrested. A lot has been learned since then. A lot of teams have cultivated and come up with the die-hard cookie cutter blueprint of how to get these guys arrested.
Have you
And
ever have you ever during after one of these things ended up in handcuffs yourself or like sued or anything? If you don't want to
hey,
talk about it
listen,
here, I understand.
no, man. Thank God. Let me knock on some wood, man. There we go. No, thank God. And even if I did, hey, in the words of Tony Montana, I got such a good lawyer. Go ahead. By this time tomorrow, you sue me, you'll be working in Alaska. You know what I mean? Like, these predators, what are they going to do? They're going to say, oh, this guy, he called me a predator. When I was on the Dr. Phil show, they had a predator guest come on that one of the fellow teams busted. And Dr. Phil tore him apart. It was great. It was insane. He's like, oh, I'm suing the predators, hunters. They ruined my life. Well, what did you do, sir? Dr. Phil says, well, are you mad? What did you do? He's like, well, I just wanted to take a 15-year-old girl to a karaoke bar to sing. It's a bar, you moron. Like, you just wanted to hang out to sing
Right.
karaoke. It was crazy, bro.
Have you ever had somebody what do you call them, catch a predator? Have you ever caught somebody on video or with the police who showed up with like restraints, toys,
Oh yeah, man.
handcuffs,
Listen,
guns?
I've had them, not guns. Actually, no, I do. On my page, or you'll find it's probably on YouTube. I had an armed security guard, who I broke down to make him feel like a little girl. I broke him down to bits and pieces. Um, I've had him show up with Bowie knives strapped to their leg. I've had him show up with knives on their belts. The armed security guard had a gun in his back seat. I mean, that happens, but it's all about tone and inflection of voice, how you approach these
Right.
predators. Now I've manipulated my style and emulated the you'll see on my page, Child Safety Soldiers, last night's bust. Very, very appealing to this predator. I'm here to either get you the help that you don't deserve but need, or get you treatment. And I get them to admit everything. Worldwide predator hunters, bikers against predators, all those guys are masters at this. Alex, a lot of these guys, man.
It's almost like you're acting as a CI, but right in their
That's it.
face.
That's it.
You're
And
not
it
hiding.
was great. It's
Dad, do you have
great.
somebody filming? Do you have a body cam on?
No, man, listen. This is it right here. Hey, I'm recording for your safety. I'm holding this an
For your
iPhone.
safety.
I'm recording for your safety as well as mine. Period.
This
Now,
way they're aware. And even if you're, because this state here is a single party consent state,
yeah,
you record anybody you want. I don't
yeah,
know what it
man.
is where you are, but
Well, listen,
yes,
out
with
here
that permission, whatever they say there forward, even in a
is
single
good.
party,
Yeah,
even in a double party consent,
as long
it's
as you state that what you're and now here's the law as far as video goes. As long as you're in a public domain, proximity of public, I could go out into a park and record you and follow you around with a camera like this, and you can't do anything about it. Now, if it's a phone call, the two-party consent law comes in. I can't call you up and record you without saying, "Hey, I'm recording this call." Have I
that's the
broke
law.
that
That's
a
the
couple
law.
of
That's the
times?
law.
Yeah.
That's the law in your state.
I mean, well, no. I mean, I'm from Jersey. I'm in Philly. I'm in Pennsylvania. All over. It depends on where I'm at. Now, if I'm making the phone call to the child predator, I'm in Jersey all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta be where you gotta be.
It.
So have you ever got the feeling that besides of maybe having an incidental weapon, that they brought restraints and you really felt there was an abduction going to happen?
Oh yeah, man! When I busted a sex trafficking ring in Florida, off of Florida Ave in Tampa, Florida.
Oh,
The gentleman, his name was Dom. I don't have his stuff remembered, but his first name was Dom. I'll never forget it. He worked at a daycare. Okay, this guy worked at a daycare. He was, when I say child sex trafficking ring, I don't mean sending kids across the United States or out of the country. I mean he was having people come to the daycare, allegedly. Now, listen, this was not proven, but he said it to me as the little girl talking about wanting to hang out, meet his friends that are other kids at the daycare. Really, really disgusting individual. So I've seen, I'm not allowed to search these guys or search their cars, so I can only ask them. But I've had so many predators bring booze, alcohol, hard liquor, drugs, cocaine, you name it. It's happened. Ultimately, what we do is we aim to get them to bring anything. Like I'll say,
So, like, do you have any like party favors or anything? I like to drink.
my voice is shot.
Hello. Hey, what's up, sweetheart? How are you?
My voice is shot tonight. I've been using it so much last night, man. But the more they get to do, if they bring beer and alcohol, it's introduction of alcohol to a minor, enticement of
Right.
alcohol, and
Child endangerment and all that.
yeah, all of this stuff, and it depends on which state you're in. It floats from state to state. Some states will say, well, there's no minor really involved. Well, the picture's not a minor, it's a person that looks like a minor. So what I did was I said, you know what? How about this? Let me tell my decoys, give me a picture of you when you were 15. So now it's a picture of a minor. The intent is there. It is actually a charge. Then boom, and it works like a charm. When we weren't getting, a lot of the teams weren't getting arrests because they were using pictures of adults that weren't minors. I said, listen, take a picture, tell your decoys to give you a picture of them when they were 15. It's a court battle. Lawyers will try to shoot holes in it, but any good prosecutor makes it happen.
So a lot of these guys got time. They're in jail. They're in prison. How many of these people you think are actually doing time still, and what's the maximum? How do you track a lot of these cases? Because I'm sure later on, prosecutors are in touch with you. Hey, trials coming up, depositions,
Listen,
all this stuff.
I'll tell you what, man. In the United States, we have one of the most sadistic, sick things called sexual offender probation, which a lot of these predators get a slap on the wrist. They get put on sexual offender probation, which basically means the judge is saying, hey, you hurt a child this time. Next child you hurt, then we're going to put you in jail. It's disgusting. 90% of the time in the United States, they give them the easiest sentences. Meanwhile, guys like me and you, we get a drug charge, we get something like this in our past, we
You get
do
slammed.
5 years. I did
Right.
5 years.
I did time in Florida. I got slammed, and everybody else was getting breaks, like violent offenders, pedophiles.
Child predators get breaks, bro. I watch it happen all the time. It's sickening, man.
I was a law clerk, for almost 18 years in 3 different states, right? So
Yeah,
I'm familiar with the laws. I'm
just
not
a
an
little bit.
attorney.
Yeah.
I don't give legal advice or anything, but I can kind of, give information out, right? So I'm in the Broward County Jail, Fort Lauderdale. Guy comes in who's been on the news. He was a Haitian guy, contractor, having sex with his 11-year-old stepdaughter, right?
Sicko.
So he comes in, and a couple of guys saw him on the news, were messing with him, saying, "Oh yeah, we saw that. You'll beat that," trying to get him to see if he'll talk, right?
Yeah.
So they say, "Hey, talk to New York." They used to call me New York. He knows the law. And he's got all the law
Yeah.
books. So
You
I
got
found
him.
the Florida statute booklet, right? That shows all the different distinctions, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is now, but I think if it was under 12 or under 11, it was a mandatory life sentence, no parole at all.
Wow. That's how it
Right?
should be. It
I
should be
think
for
over
any
12,
minor.
it's like 30 years mandatory, no parole. So he fell into the mandatory life, even though he had no criminal history.
Good.
So they're all telling him, he's going to get probation, he'll get counseling, right? But talk to New York. And then they were all watching me show him the law.
Yeah.
And I went over there talking to this guy, he's a piece of what.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I said, look, so does this really happen? He said, yeah. I said, how'd they find out? He says, because she had problems down there and this and that. And she got checked out. She had herpes, and it's the same strain of herpes or whatever that I have. And then so they investigated. Yeah. And so he not only gave her a venereal disease and destroyed her life, but so when I show him the book, and that because of her age, he's facing mandatory life in Florida with no parole.
Good.
This guy looked at it again and started trembling and hit the floor, man. Just had to be taken out on a stretcher.
Gone. Hey, man.
He didn't die, but he had some kind of stroke or
sometimes these problems have tendency to take care of themselves too.
They took him out of there, and the whole unit was clapping.
Good.
I don't condone violence per se, but at the same time, like you said, if it's your kid, anybody's kid, or you stumble across it, in my book, about Ghislaine Maxwell. So I knew her, and the reason I know her is because I was doing a lot of multi-million-dollar, burglaries. I was selling a lot of jewelry in Palm Beach on Worth Avenue. And I went into one of my fences diamond salons on Worth Avenue. And when I went in there was an older guy and a young girl, looked like Jodie Foster era, like Jodie Foster, like a taxi driver era, like a little 14-year-old.
Wow.
And he's got his hand down the back of her shorts. He doesn't realize I'm in the salon. And he's there. I'm a fugitive. I got stolen jewelry on me, and I got a gun with a silencer on it at the time.
Yeah.
this is going back many, many years. So
Oh yeah.
that lifestyle is behind me. I don't glorify it.
Amen. Amen.
I speak to kids today, a motivational speaker.
Same
Don't
here.
follow in my footsteps. So, yeah, so I was running really dirty at the time, and it was a very public, high security area. I mean, we're talking about Worth Avenue in Palm Beach.
Oh yeah.
So I clear my throat, and he stops. Right, he finishes doing his business. My guy who owns the salon he's got it's a diamond salon in Palm Beach.
Yeah. Wow.
Millions of dollars in diamonds everywhere. Some of the heads of state and celebrities shop at this guy's place.
Oh yeah.
He was also buying a lot of stolen stuff from me.
Mm-hmm.
So when he leaves, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab some lunch. I'll be back." And I wanted to follow him, and I followed him to a restaurant, and it turned out to be Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow.
Yeah, and I confronted him, and he wouldn't talk, and I pulled a gun on him in the restaurant under the table, and I got him. I said, "Look, you're going to talk to me one way or the other." I said, "Because I saw what you're doing to that young lady, and that's my friend's place. He's got cameras in there. If I pull the videos, you're getting locked up."
Oh yeah.
No, that's my niece. She's 18, and we play around like that. Now,
wow.
Put yourself in my shoes. I'm dirty. I'm wanted by the cops at the time.
Strapped.
I got a yeah. So I was like, man, I can't even get this guy alone if I wanted to do something.
Yeah. Bro, I've been in. Go ahead.
He must have realized I followed him, and she had the same story. I said, sit right here. I'm going to talk to her. She said the same thing, man. And he just, tried to bait my greed, I guess. And I ended up getting his number because I wanted to know who this guy was. I wanted to get him busted.
Yeah.
This is a long time ago. And this was Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow.
So I got his number. I had sold him some jewelry. I tried to get in the house. Now, he eventually introduced me to Ghislaine Maxwell, and that's what I wrote the book about, my experiences primarily with her.
Yeah.
This is before I knew how horrendous these people were. And then I got locked up, and I lost track of them. But
that's insane, man.
Yeah, right out in not a public. It was a very private salon, and very few people even know about the place. But that's how I met him, and
that's insane, bro. Like that's mind blowing because you Epstein is like he's the devil of all devils, and it's crazy, man. Like
they got a new one out there now. Isn't this allegedly Puff Diddy Daddy Diddler?
Yeah, from what I hear. From what I hear, man, and it's like
they had that guy. What's his name? The guy that had Death Row Records, Suge Knight.
Suge Knight, yeah.
He did some kind of interview, I think, a week or two ago. And he says, "Well, just to let you know, and you come, that your history." Basically, he's telling him he's gonna be, because he's got a lot of the gang members and celebrities.
Oh yeah, forget about it. These guys,
Yeah, and he said something. He goes by Brother Love now or something. And if you do make it, if you're alive and you do make it here with your little life sentence that you're about to get, don't be calling yourself Brother Love in prison. It won't be going over so well.
Not at all. Yeah, you're gonna get all the love that you didn't want. That's for damn sure. And that's what That's what people don't realize. The entertainment industry is a leeching, cutthroat industry, and when there's children actors coming up, like look at Corey Feldman, okay? Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman, Telltale Story, how Charlie Sheen molested him and Corey Haim. How
is that allegedly or is that proven?
This is allegedly by Corey Feldman, but he has some pretty damn backing good evidence about it.
I saw his story.
I believe it.
Time. He was on the Goonies, so everybody who knows he was originally on the Goonies. He's done many movies. Corey Feldman. I first saw his story on a show you were on, Dr. Phil. That's how I learned about all this. So. Yeah,
man. I talked to Corey Feldman a lot. Back when I used to micromanage a guy by the name of Aaron Carter, who was old. He's deceased now. He passed away from a drug addiction.
You know what's interesting about that is I was on TMZ about my show. My show it's on A&E Network. It's called Inmate to Roommate. Season 2 is about to drop. It became the second highest rated reality show in the country.
Nice,
so
bro.
I'm blessed because it lets me use my platform to help people.
Yeah, bro.
But so I lost my train of thought for a second.
It's all right,
you mentioned something, and I was going to jump on.
I mentioned Aaron Carter and Corey Feldman.
Aaron Carter. So I'm on TMZ. It got like 8 million views across all platforms just before Inmate to Roommate aired. Harvey Levin had me on for 7 minutes. You'll see it on my channel, but across all their platforms and on Fox TV. So I'm still in touch with them, but my fiance Mary is a regular contributor on TMZ to this day.
Oh wow, man, that's cool.
Her occasionally, right? But here's the thing: it's only on stories, and one of the ones she did was the Aaron Carter story.
Wow, she did. Wow, man. Well, man, listen, Aaron Carter, he had an isolated event where he, allegedly, send pictures to a minor or what have you. You know, I don't know all the schematics of it. I was highly involved in it, but I had to back away from him when that came out.
Right.
You know, I know the family, you know, as far as, you know, not intimately, but in that aspect to where I was involved with all of them. And I had to back away from Aaron Carter when all that stuff was happening. His addiction got the best of him. His mental illness was preyed and preyed on by two individuals.
Mhm.
You know, and I can mention because it's public knowledge. These two individuals, you know, preyed on him. You'll see it. It's all over the news. Melissa Schumann and Jerry Schumann, two individuals who preyed, tried to extort his brother. They're currently, I mean, it's absolutely insane.
I'm
But
going
all
through.
the proof is in the pudding in there.
I'm going through something that not like that. It's not doesn't involve a minor,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a woman who offered me certain favors in exchange for helping with her brother's case, and
Wow.
I don't do legal work. I don't do drafting, papers and all that. What I do is I provide information. I'm willing to have wrongful conviction cases on my show
Nice.
if I see all the evidence. So
Absolutely.
yeah, creepy people come out of the woodwork, and then they want to claim this and that. But if people came at him deliberately, was he aware they were minors, or or
Well,
thinking
this was
it
an
was?
isolated event. I don't know too much. You know, I was micromanaging him. I was pretty much his like online bodyguard. Okay, I was flying out to haters' houses and making sure they left him alone, doing some crazy stuff. But when this came to light, it was not only heartbreaking because I was close to him, but it was devastating to me because here I am, the founder of a huge movement hunting and exposing child predators. I'm backing him up online, and boom, these allegations come out. It's like, wow, this guy that hunts predators is managing a predator, and I don't know the actual reality of it all. I could just say this, that he admitted his faults as somebody who was completely in addiction and whatever the case may be, which I don't condone and I don't say, oh, it makes it right. But I
Right.
will say this: mental illness versus sadistic sick nature are two different things, two different elements.
Exactly.
However, I don't excuse either one. Now, if
Exactly.
somebody has Down syndrome and they don't know the age of the person they're talking to, of course, I'm not going to go hunting them. But if you're old enough, you're smart enough to make a fake profile of a 15-year-old boy or 13-year-old boy and prey on the likeness of a child, but you have some mental illness, you're smart enough to do that. You're smart enough to take and pay the price. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You
Do
know,
you remember a case out of South Florida called the Big Boy Bandit out of Fort Lauderdale?
absolutely, bro. Absolutely, dude. I definitely remember that case,
He
dude.
murdered Amanda Doherty in 1994,
Hmm.
kidnapped her, sexually abused her, dumped her body in Boca Raton. This
Yeah,
guy, this guy was robbing banks on cocaine binges, and then pulling up with his van to young girls on the sidewalk, jerking them in the van,
I
doing them,
remember.
and then kicking them
Sick.
out. He's doing life now, and we're
Good.
we're kind of on top of this particular case for a lot of reasons, because in my addiction in Fort Lauderdale, I ran into this character,
Oh,
right?
wow, man.
And I seen him touching a sleeping female and touching her. And I'm like, hey, you ain't doing that shit around me, man. I'll take a baseball, whatever.
Amen. Amen.
And so he started crying and all this stuff. So I knew him. And then I was wanted. I was an idiot. I was always in trouble.
Hey,
So
man, I know that lifestyle too.
a long time ago, man. So then he eventually made like really significant admissions about Amanda. So we're tracking that case big time, and
Nice.
we're getting ready to try to do some more profiles on this particular case because she deserves justice. Her parents
Yeah.
were in and out of addiction and mental illness. They're both deceased, I think now, and so she has nobody to advocate for. She's been sitting in a grave. She was like 4 or 5 years old. She's been sitting in a grave in South Florida in a cemetery, forgotten since
Man,
1994. And
anything I can do to help you out with that, you let me know, man. I'm dead serious,
I'll
man.
keep you
Anything.
posted. I want to profile that case again and call for some action on that case.
Yeah, brother. You know what's been crazy, William? It's in this lifestyle of online social media and being in front of the camera and all this stuff. You get depicted. There's a certain stigma, like the way we have stigmas about us as addicts, as us as prisoners. The stigma about an addict is they're better off dead or in jail, right? The stigma about somebody that goes to prison is, oh, they should throw him away and lock away the key, right?
Right.
You're better off locked up. Oh, don't let him out. He'll just go back. Look, I've been a stigma statistic for so long that doing this movement and hunting and exposing these child predators, I have found a way to redeem not only myself and my wrongdoings that I have done throughout my years of addiction and
Amen. Amen.
and wrongful stuff, to where not only is it a passion just to keep kids safe, but it is my duty. I owe it to the public, and I owe it to my family, my children. I owe it to you. I owe it to the kids. I owe it because I've done so much dirt in my life that I'm not proud of. That every day that I wake up and open my eyes, I give myself self something to be proud about. Like last night, putting this child predator away in jail for everything that he did, and then I
And
busted him on my page.
I just met you, man, but I've been studying you like all night long last night and today again.
Nice.
And I'm proud of you, man, because I know
Thank you,
you have a
brother.
history. You've been incarcerated like me.
Man, it's
I've
crazy.
only been out, a little over 2 years, and I do this, and it's a thankless job a lot of times, especially the crime prevention stuff.
Yeah,
And
man.
and then the weirdos come out of the woodwork and the fake people that want to get on my show or
Oh,
you
yeah,
know
everybody's gonna come out of the woodwork.
if you take a conversation any kind of way, they like you used to talk and maybe years ago. Now everybody's politically correct. Now it's like, oh no,
Yeah,
so
you
you got to
can't
be
say me.
careful.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm learning all this. It's a learning curve. But bottom line, my heart's in it, and I'm trying to emulate people like you.
Hey,
Honestly,
man, bro, I'm looking
honestly,
up to you.
I
I'm looking up to you, bro. Like honestly, you got. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry. I do that a lot. My ADHD. I got ADD, ADHD, ABCDEFG. I got it all. So if I cut you off, just say, hey, Shane, shut up. But
well, I don't know what
I
your faith
checked you
is. I
out.
don't. I don't have all that, and I'm not going to meetings and all that. But I like to say I've got Jesus because I am a
Yeah.
Christian now. I'm not
Hey,
perfect,
man.
man. I use the F word occasionally, but bottom line is the only thing that got me through. Like I escaped from prison. I ended up on America's Most Wanted. I got
Wow.
I was in solitary for almost 4 years in 2 states supermax, right?
23 lockdown, an hour a day out.
You know what I did? I stayed reading, writing books, screenplays, helping people, corresponding with people, in
Yeah,
my
man.
Bible a lot, I was a law clerk for many years, and I was on the offender representative committee. If the crowd
Wow.
was going one way in prison, I was going the opposite way. I
Yeah.
was trying to tutor guys. I was trying to bring
It
college courses.
shows, man. It shows. Look what you got going now,
I
bro.
took college courses, university courses, and like I say, not perfect, but my
You
faith,
redeemed
my
yourself, man.
studying, and my mentors on the outside because my family cut me off. They ripped me off for about 800 grand. They told my mentally ill mother I was dead, so
Wow.
I had a lot to be brokenhearted about, and I still am in a lot of ways. But
Yeah.
I can't dwell in that misery on a daily basis, and the loss. 18 years is a long time for nonviolent offenses, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
made a lot of stupid mistakes. We all do. The money I made back in the day isn't worth it today. It's
Not at
just
all.
loss, and it's just not worth it. So I really genuinely emulate and admire people like you because I want
Man,
more
thank
people
you.
like you on my show to show my audience on Steal the Spotlight Television and on my true crime channels that it can be done. That people can
Absolutely,
get
man.
out, and we're imperfect, we screwed up, but we're really trying our best to do the right thing and help people by virtue of our skills and our, if we were
Yeah.
chasing dope, why not use those same skills to chase the violent bad
Predators,
guys
yeah.
or the predators or whatever.
Yeah. Or use the same skills to do, what you and I both do, speak at schools, do motivational things for children. For the longest of times, back in the day, I took pride when I was young on being the best con man. I could
Yeah,
tell somebody go to hell and make them look forward to going. You know what I
right,
mean? Like it
right,
was that good.
right.
And then I realized, I would do the voices back in the day, doing the scams like, hey, how are you? It's Jennifer Adelia from Bank of America. How are you? And then I realized, man, years later now I could use these same abilities that I once used for wicked ways to save children,
Yeah.
to help people, to make people
It's it's
laugh too.
it's rewarding, man. And like you said, it's a form of like kind of paying it forward, giving back for the damage we've done over the years.
I've
It's
done a
just
lot, man. Yeah, yeah, we both have, and it feels really good. Now, listen, I'm an open book. I'm very transparent. As an addict, when I was in active addiction, I was abusing opiates, heroin, cocaine, you name it. I was abusing it. I was doing it for 25 plus years. I was a fighter, so my first start was on painkillers. I started painkillers, and then the painkillers, the Oxycontin epidemic came out, and they were $80 a pill, so it became too expensive. So then heroin came cost effective. I destroyed so many people in my life, including myself, first and foremost, to where everything that I do nowadays, I have to take a look at with a fine fine microscope and realize, like, yo, listen, this is going to affect me. Recently, and I'm open book, man, I suffer with mental illness, depression, anxiety, things of that nature. Mix that with addiction, you've got a walking relapse ready to happen at any moment. You know what I mean? Ticking time bomb. Like, am I going to be depressed today? Am I going to do drugs today? If you're not, that's why I chose to work in recovery as an addictions and mental health counselor, to keep me active in the community of recovery. Now, I've slipped up, man. I had an isolated event to where I drank some alcohol, and I was reminded right away. Now, yeah, you got 4 years clean off any opiates or anything, but I picked up a bottle, and sure enough, the same day, boom, I picked up the bottle, got drunk, got arrested, got to jail. It was like, whoa, wait a minute. Nope, I remember this life. I need to get away from it.
How old are you now, Shane?
44 years young, man.
Okay. I don't discuss my age here, but I'm a little
Hey,
bit
bro,
older
you
than
ain't
you.
too far from me. You probably, what, 41, I imagine, 43.
I don't know. I just turned 28 on my last birthday.
Hey,
Hey,
bro,
listen,
there you go, man.
listen to this. One, Corey. I'd love to have him on my show if you want to reach out. That's number one.
I can email him right away for you, bro.
He's an A-lister, so I don't expect to see him. But if he
Hey,
comes, God
listen,
bless him.
when it comes to this stuff, Corey Feldman. Now, look, I don't have like a friendship with him or anything like that, but we share in the same exact dedication and devotion to keeping kids safe. And it's unfortunate he was a victim. When I say, let me take that back. He's not a victim. Corey Feldman is a survivor. He's a
Amen.
survivor. There are no victims. When you get through it, and as a person that's ever suffered with sexual assault or sexual abuse, I want it to be known to all of you out there that have ever suffered under the hands of a predecessing, disgusting predator. You are not a victim anymore. You're a survivor, and we do what we do for you,
That's
100%.
exactly right,
And
man.
you're a warrior. You're the most powerful form of life that exists, because you had your innocence stolen from you at such a young age, to where you didn't know what it was to be innocent, or what it was to actually grow up or be a kid, because it was stolen from you in the hands of predators. And I salute you all, survivors of sexual abuse. My heart is in this for you, the children and the survivors and the parents, of course.
We're going to definitely have you on again, but in the interest of time, let me get to a few quick questions. Have you ever done motivational speaking, go around the country in front of a big crowd and
I
spoke?
absolutely have, but it wouldn't be around the country. It'd be in my own state or a state over. It's been in a high
Okay.
school, But I would love to.
Now, do you ever feel like going public like this, telling your tactics a little bit, is kind of like a double-edged sword? Am I going to lose my effectiveness because I talk about it too much?
A lot of people ask that same. That's a great question, William. You hit me with some good ones, and that's it. The answer that I give to everybody is, I haven't been made yet. No child predator's ever said, "Oh wait, I've seen you. You're the ultimate decoy from Child Safety Soldiers. You're that guy that can do the voices." It's not happened yet, and the awareness level that me doing this, that it's just so great, to where these predators, there's thousands and hundreds of millions of them, one after another after another. If they do see me, hopefully they're fearing me, and hopefully it stops them from doing what they do. If they don't see me, I'm coming for them. You know what I
You
mean?
definitely don't look like a 15-year-old girl.
Oh, sweetheart, that's so nice of you.
And you know what?
Hey,
Sometimes I say to myself, how can these guys even think I'm 15? Like, look,
Hello. Hi, it's Jennifer Adelia.
I mean, maybe 32, Nah. But these
that
predators hear what they want to hear. They believe what you want them to believe when sexual orientation is involved. Not sexual orientation, when sexual,
matters,
stuff is
right?
involved. They're one focused tunnel vision.
Now, my other co-host is Meghan Markle's sister, Samantha Markle, and
Wow.
she's represented by Peter Tickton, a friend of mine who also represents Donald Trump. And
Yeah.
she loves to come on. She doesn't talk too much about the royal family because she's in litigation with Meghan. I
Yeah.
think Oprah and Netflix right now, but so she
Wow.
keeps that under wraps a little bit. But she does come on to talk about crime prevention. She may be good to come on with me and you occasionally.
Let's
But
do it, man.
I'll run it by her, tell her who you are, send her this link. Real quick, two more questions we got to get to before
Answer whatever you need, brother.
One is we both done time, jail and prison, right?
Yeah.
What game do these pedophiles, child predators all play no matter where you go?
If you're in prison and you could pinpoint the pedophiles if they're playing, tell me if I'm right, Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't know. This is not a knock on the
No
game.
dig towards the game,
There's people that are that nice and clean and love the game, and so. But our personal experience and observation is
in prison. Absolutely, they're playing
they
that
come
game.
together for safety and for telling on every damn thing around them. But they'll also be sitting at the table in the day room playing Dungeons and Dragons.
It's weird,
I
man.
ran that by my co-host Ignacio. He's federal law enforcement. He said he never heard it, but he does mostly gun and violent crime cases.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, man, I'm telling you, it's a thing. And I don't know what it is about
It's
that
weird,
game.
bro. It's
The
funny you
second
know
thing
that
is,
too.
I think I know how you're going to answer this, but when I got to ask it, I try to ask a lot of my very inspirational guests like yourself.
Thank you,
Now,
brother.
now, if the good Lord, I don't know what your faith is,
Christian.
but
Yes.
okay. So if the good Lord was to take you home today, how do you want to be remembered to your community, to your family, especially? How would you like to be remembered?
I want to be remembered first and foremost as a daddy, not a father, a daddy to my children. I want to be remembered as a man who would be willing to sacrifice anything at all times for my children, and not only my children, but yours. I want to be remembered as somebody who, yes, he's done a lot of wrong, but for every single thing that he's done wrong, he had to do something right. That's the God's honest truth, man. I don't want to be remembered for a couple funny things. Joseph D'Onofrio and I did some stand-up comedy together. He's a funny man, but
Oh man,
just ultimately, I want to be remembered as a daddy, man, as a father, as a man who's got the love for everyone's children in his heart, and will stop at nothing to keep them safe.
With that being said, Joseph D'Onofrio, thank you,
Thank
Beth.
you, Joey.
Joseph and I are in the same movie together coming out this summer. It's called Silent Partners. Look
I
for it.
can't wait to see it, man.
And he is funny. I interview him in December in New York on the red carpet.
Yeah.
And he says, I want to play you. I've heard about you. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I said, you heard about me? I said, you're on Goodfellas, Bronx Tale, and all these shows.
Yeah.
The Narrows, he wants everybody to mention. I said, you heard about me? He said, oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
great. Yeah. I said, what do I do? He goes, everything.
Hey, I want to give a big shout out too, if I may, to William DeMeo and the entire cast and crew from Gravesend. That series is by far one of the best series out. It's absolutely amazing. If you haven't checked it out, check out Gravesend.
Listen, I'm from Gravesend and Bensonhurst, and I can't get DeMeo to return a call. So give me
Oh man, Ross.
my friend Bruce Sosa. Shout out Bruce, one of my best
Big
friends.
Bruce, yeah.
Oh my God!
Great
I was just
actor.
with him in Florida a few weeks ago. I got an interview
Wow.
with him on the balcony of in the ocean in Boca.
Yeah.
Bruce is a dear friend, man of inspiration, faith. Oh my God, Bruce! Everybody loves you. I'm just so grateful to call you friend. Bruce is on Gravesend.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, oh, bro, he is. He's an icon on there, bro. Listen,
I'm
Bruce
not chasing the whole acting thing. Don't get me wrong, but I would not mind being on that.
Yeah, hey, bro, it's a great series. It is by far. Not only is William DeMeo great in his character, but his son, Christian DeMeo. Have you seen his son, bro? There's a clip on Instagram on Christian DeMeo's page, and it's he plays Benny, and he's going nuts and killing people. It's so like, yo, this is Sopranos times 10, man. Gravesend series is by far surpassing Sopranos, man.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
it's
if you
funny
could get
'cause
on that show, man, God bless, bro. That'd be great,
the
man.
church that they always film in is where I went to Catholic school, and I was an altar boy. Our Lady of Grace on Avenue W. That's my church.
Yeah.
That's my neighborhood.
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah,
matter of
that
fact, Carlo Gambino, when I was a little kid, going to church and going to school, I was, that's 5 or 7 or something, and he pat me on the head. Hey, Billy, stay out of trouble. I knew your grandfather from Sicily or Santo, whatever. So he would say, I don't even know who he was, and I'd ask my parents who he was. Oh, he's just a nice man, So
yeah, bro, I think I made a mistake. I might have said he plays Benny, man. I'm like, but bro, that series is phenomenal. I'm stuck watching it, bro. I watched it like crazy.
3 is about to drop. Is it 3 about to drop?
Yeah, season 3. They're filming now. They're filming Gravesend season 3 now, man. Listen, I've been, I got good friends, and I got a lot of friends on that show. Pasquale Tetti, I got, a lot of good friends. I'm not on the show or anything like that. I watch it, I love it, and I hang out with the good people from it, man.
Shout out to Bruce and Will DeMeo. Now, Will, keep this in mind. I have Inmate to Roommate, second most popular reality show in the country when it came out. Season 2 is about to drop, and on TikTok alone, I have 12.3 million. So I would love just a little taste.
There you go, William DeMeo. You got a great guy right here. Willie, get him on there, man. Listen, I love watching. It's a great series. I gotta give one more shout, if you don't mind. It's all right. To Angel Gotti, John Minucci. Angel Gotti's podcast. I've been on it several times. Great people, amazing people. You got to check it out on YouTube. Angel Gotti's podcast. Johnny Minucci, I love you, bro. Everybody out there, man, for real.
Shout out to my co-hosts, Ignacio Esteban, Samantha Markle, and Frank Lordi. We love everybody. Thank you so much for coming on. You're a crazy inspirational character.
Love
you,
so
brother. Animated and so full of energy. I support what you do. We're looking forward to collaborating and doing some more things together. Everybody, thank you for joining. Follow
Thank you,
him on
guys.
Child Safety Soldiers on Facebook. And where else
Yes.
can they find you?
They can find, I mean, anywhere there's a predator, I'll be right behind them. Child Safety Soldiers, and on Instagram, Shane Jonathan Coyle. Salute, man. God
You got
bless,
it.
brother.
Thank you again, Beth and Joseph D'Onofrio. Good night.